Welcome everybody. I'm Karen Eckmeier. I think I've met some of you and taught you in classes. We're here today at the Quilted U in New Hartford, Connecticut. And you are the first ones to see the quilts from my new book, Wiggles and Waves. And if we haven't met before, this is a technique that I've been playing with for 20 years now. And I just can't stop. It's a layered top stitching technique that enables me to do curves, little curves, big curves, and angles. And I just am still having fun playing with this. So that's what I'm going to show you today in this trunk show, the quilts and some of the new ideas that I've come up with. So wiggles and waves. Wiggles are little curves, okay? Waves are bigger curves. So we have wiggles and waves. We have twists and twirls, which you'll see on the your left, and layered leaves and layered logs. And then at the end, I'm going to show you layered capes. So they're all top stitched, as I mentioned earlier. And if you had a chance to look closer, top stitching is done 1/8 of an inch from the edge, which creates a little pleat. Okay, so that gives extra texture to the quilt. So let's start with this one. This is a wiggle, okay? So the wild horses. To me, the lines or the wiggles, they can be wind in a horse's mane, or it could be water, it could be yarn, anything that has motion or movement. So here we've got, to me, it's the wind in the horse's mane. When I cut the squares, some of the horses got decapitated, so there's a little bit of a collage thing going on here where we add the horses here, and then that adds extra movement to the piece. So you can look at that a little closer. Here wiggles are water. So we had the same idea with loons. So this is Loon Lake. And again, you know, if one of those loons got its wing cut off, we can add it and make it complete by collage. Okay? When I make these wiggles, I have some leftover fabric. I didn't want to throw it away, so that elongated this one to make this one a little bit longer. Okay. Another version, which I made for the Quilted U from the Quilted Lizard, I think wiggles could be yarn. Don't you? Definitely. Just could be flowing colors. Doesn't have to be anything specific. So there's wiggles for Mary. Maybe you don't want to do a table runner. Maybe you want to stop at 2 blocks or 4 blocks. How about 4 blocks? Here's a table topper, okay? Just playing with the lines. This, I took the colors from this camping fabric and then just took the colors of nature and put them together. Okay, so there's a table topper. This is one for my little granddaughter. This one's for River, actually. So here's butterflies. Okay. And again, some of those, and Kat, if you could help me hold this one up. With the butterflies, sometimes they get cut off, and so we added more so that they can flitter and flutter all around the quilt. So just keeping the motion, we're keeping them in flight.
And the butterfly piece is just a solid piece then?
Yeah, those are squares that are cut into triangles. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, at any time, this is very informal. If you have a question, just shout out. Happy to answer it. He's 11 now, my grandson. He's going to be 12 in January. So I thought, this is a crazy cosmos. So I took the same idea.
Wow.
The binding's not on yet. I was madly quilting it yesterday and didn't get it finished. But I think that's kind of fun, using the colors from outer space and let those be the wiggles. It was a fun way to, I've been collecting space fabrics for a while. And again, you know, you just, cut out an extra planet like we did with the butterflies and the horses and let them float around. So it truly is crazy when you've got 2 Saturns next to each other and 2 Earths. So it's going to drive him crazy because he's a very scientific, smart guy. What's going on, Omi? So those are wiggles. Here are waves. So we're going to be playing, I hate to use the word work, selvage to selvage, so 44 inches at a time. And cutting the curves, think about being at the beach, adding seashells, maybe you don't want to add anything. Maybe you just want it to be plain and add your own collection of seashells on top of there, or rocks. Okay? Very free form. How about thinking about like a riverbed? We can add stones. We can do that. These are fun. I make these. There's a reason they're this specific length, so they fit on my living room table. You can make them longer just by adding end borders. Okay. Here is that same idea, except a little bit more patriotic. Alright, just red and white and the stars. Another variation, if you look at the star field, if you substitute baseballs there and then use the colors of a team, try to think sports or something like that, that would be fun for a party kind of thing. The idea of these is that they're supposed to help you celebrate different occasions, and whether it's a holiday or a season, and just changing the colors to go with that. So those are the waves, and now we can do scalloped waves. So these are waves that come to a point, okay, pun intended. And so they're scalloped there. You could have lighthouses in this, you could have fish, anything. I think it's kind of fun with the whales. Oh, here's one I did with just a lighter palette. The ships, the compasses, that kind of thing. Oh, this one, I had to make another one. This is for my granddaughter, Alexandria, in Germany. This is just ducky. So those are the scalloped waves. So that goes together nice and quickly. And of course you could have anything. It doesn't have to be duckies. You could have frogs or anything that likes to swim around in the water. It's got a nice puffy batting in there, so it's cuddly. Let's switch to, these I call color twists. And some of you might have made random roses with me. This is similar to that, except we're adding another fabric in there. We're adding green. And so it makes those colors look like they're floating. Okay, so that's the difference with that. And we're doing a dark, a medium, and a light, and that adds a little extra movement to there too. And then, of course, that's got the ribbon border. That's kind of fun to add. Now, that is definitely spring. But what if we change the colors? We've got snowballs, okay? So just change, they don't have to be flowers. So these are the snowball twists. Ooh. And then how about the pumpkin colors? And a ribbon border, as some of you know, if you're just free-forming, doing a curve. If we do a zigzag, we get this kind of a shape. Okay, so that's more for the pumpkins. Maybe you don't want to do a runner, you want to stop at 4. The little table topper, it's just perfect. Put your vase there where the greens come together. Okay, that's another option. Now these are, I'll call them the twirls now. Those, that's the same here. I'm calling them rose twirls now. So they don't have that extra green in there. And here we just have a nice rose runner with the wiggle borders, okay, similar to what we talked about in the very beginning. Okay, and then any of the fabrics that you cut away from here, we use them to create our end borders. Here's another variation. I was teaching in Minnesota and somebody said, I don't like pinks, I want to do browns. And so she did browns and we all said, oh, they look like pine cones. So here we have pine cones. Who would have thought? Fun fabrics on the bear. You've got to have your bears. Loose it all. And another version. Way to go patriotic. Okay. I cheated on the end borders. I just used a red and white stripe fabric. Allowed to cheat. I made this for my son when he first went in the Army, but I never gave it to him. Here's your quilt, but I'm taking it back. And if any of you are familiar with chakras, they're like energy centers in your body. These are the colors of the chakra. Again, those twirls, and it can be any color that you want. Do we have left? And of course, over here, any of these we've been talking about, it's one runner, okay? If you make 2, you've got a wider runner. You make 3, you've got a baby quilt. You make 4, 5, whatever, you're going to have a king size quilt. So make whatever size you want. The idea is you make it fit what you want to do. So this is a nice little baby quilt using more of the twists or the twirls and the ribbon border with that my cheater miter corner there. Okay. So layered leaves. Okay, this is new to a lot of you, I think. Here we're not doing really very, not a crazy curve at all, but a very gentle arch, free form. I know there's rulers out there for you to use that, but you don't want to use a ruler. Okay, so you can have fall leaves. Notice that the edges are not straight. Why stop? Why have straight borders when you can have curvy ones, curvy binding? There it is in fall. You can pretend it's more spring colors with these bright purples and lime greens. And I don't know whether you can tell from where you are, the centers have yarn couched down the center. And there it is, threesome, okay? And you can keep going on if you want to make a larger quilt with that. Here it is combined with flowers, right? Why not have our flowers and our leaves together? Okay? So there we have, these are the twists because they have that extra green. It could be black. I've done that with a black background. Whatever color you choose, then that flower or twist floats on that background. Alrighty, layered logs. I love layered logs. I mean, I love log cabin in general, but I got to a point where they would never ever come to the same size. So I gave myself permission that they could all be different sizes, that the logs could have curves, and that we could add these fun little triangles in there just to add colors to it. So here's a fun little one. And a nice big motif for the center, something about 4 inches to show off, so anything that you like. Okay, could be fun stuff like this. Animals could be smaller. Got all these at Mary's last, whoops, it's hanging all over. The cardinals and the Christmassy fabric. And again, notice that the sides are not straight. And here's one I decided just to stop with 4 and just make a little table topper with veggie fabrics. I was just going to make 1 or 2 of these blocks because I'm a quilted lizard and Cat, I might need help. This is just a top, but I was having so much fun that I just kept making it. It's a lizard quilt, of course. Lizard logs. So I think I'll eventually finish that. And again, with log cabin, there's so many different designs that you can use. The barn raising, the furrows. This one is a zigzag that you can see. So I had way too much fun with that one. We're happy guys. And I don't think I'll add the triangles on that. I think there's probably enough going on that one. So since it is 20 years that I'm celebrating doing these layered curves, I decided to do a cake. So this is a layered cake to celebrate that occasion. You can do it all in white, okay? And then just do fancy machine stitching, get out your beads and sequins, crystals, whatever, yarn. You can do it that way. Or you could pick a flavor. How about, this is a citrus orange one where you pick 2 fun fabrics. It could be, you know, Frozen is still going strong now. You could pick out a movie theme fabric for a child's birthday and make a cake to go with it. And of course, you can't forget having a chocolate cake too. So there's a lot of things that you can do with the variations of this cake there. So it could be a banner, use it for your table, or just make that occasion really festive. So that's the book in a nutshell. Do you have any questions at all, or things that I should say 1 or 2 more times? Josh, stop.
The triangles, the points on them, are those just applique on, or are they?
They're
part
just
of-
actually, they're glued on there and then they're stitched at the quilting stage. Yeah. You certainly could use a fusible if you don't like the idea that it's too fuzzy, you know, but it gets to a certain point and doesn't fray anymore.
Are they raw edge or they just edges turned under?
Oh, the raw edge, yeah, but the rest of the edges have turned out. Got a nice heartbeat that go in the background of this video.
Upstairs. No,
Oh, yeah,
I don't think it's upstairs.
yeah. All righty. Well, thank you all for coming, and I hope to have fun trying some of these new projects. Thank you. Oh, very happy. Yeah, great, thanks.